Welcome to part 17 of The Last of Us Part 2. Old Yeller, anybody? Has anybody seen it? Yeah, me too. Judging by the title of this video, there's going to be some canine action. That's right, Ellie's going to have to deal with Man's best friend. And in this episode, I actually surprisingly managed to get through an entire area without getting spotted by a dog, so that's a thumbs up, because they're pretty annoying to deal with.
Hey. How hot do I look right now?
Pretty hot. How'd you fix it?
It was a loose connection. Antenna. They found our mess at the school.
Good.
This guy, Owen, he went AWOL.
Maybe Tommy got to him.
Maybe.
What about her?
Nothing yet.
Unit Romeo, you are requested at Site 2. Repeat, you are requested at Site 2. Confirm.
So, the numbers are locations. The TV station we were at, that's 6. There's a lot of chatter coming out of 2, so I'm assuming that's their home base. That helps.
Look. Last night was... stupid.
Casualties reported in 14. All available units report. Over. This is Site 13. Unit Lima nearby. How many scars you got? Over. Negative on scars. Lone male trespasser. Armed.
Lone male
Over.
trespasser?
Tommy, where's 14?
Not 100% sure.
Okay, then guess.
If this is 7, 12's all the way over here. I guess it's somewhere in this neighborhood?
Hillcrest. Okay. Tina?
Yeah. Not good.
Hey. I'll go get him. You keep tracking them, okay?
Yeah, okay. Wait. Give me your hand. It's for good luck.
I don't believe in luck.
I do.
Okay, Hillcrest. Is this the right place? Definitely the right place.
Ellie's going to be alone for the next couple of sections. And boy, this is actually the most terrifying part of the game. I'm not talking about this section in Hillcrest neighborhood. No, I'm talking about everything after Hillcrest. That's when the game gets truly scary. But not only just that, Tommy is also scary to the wolves. Yeah, he's tearing some shit up apparently. And this is actually a really missed opportunity. Why the fuck can't you play as Tommy? That would have been so awesome to just wreck shit up as Tommy. But they don't take advantage of that opportunity. Maybe there will be some DLC in the future, kind of like Left Behind, except you're playing as Tommy and you're destroying everything. I don't know. It's just an idea, but I don't think Naughty Dog will take up that opportunity. I also got another nitpick about this game. It only takes place in a couple of cities, that's about it. And for as long as this game is, you start to feel it. So for comparison's sake between part 1 and part 2, in this game we got Jackson, Seattle, and Spoiler Town, which we're going to go in the end game. So that's a total of 3 cities in this one game. Compare that to the first game where you got Austin, Texas, you got Boston, you got Pittsburgh, you got Jackson, you got the ECU, University of Eastern Colorado, you got that little neighborhood in Colorado where David was, and then you got Salt Lake City. So that's a total of 7 different places you go to in the first game. And mind you, the first game was shorter, but the first game also took advantage of the larger time window too, because Last of Us Part 1 took place over the span of a year. This game does the span of 3 days, except for some exceptions where it jumps ahead a couple of months later, and it also uses flashbacks, so that also muddies the timeline, and it is kind of stupid how the timeline works in this game if you're playing it in full. If I were to draw one comparison with this game and something else, in terms of flashbacks at least, it will be the CW's Arrow. That Green Arrow show that aired a couple of years ago, Season 1 and 2 was good, but everything else after that kind of sucked. I think the only reason why I started watching that show is because Deathstroke was in the 2nd season. I love me some Slade, okay? Slade's an awesome character. But I'm not talking about Green Arrow or Slade Wilson or Teen Titans or anything. I'm here to talk about Last of Us Part 2, which there's nothing going on. Oh wait, there's something going on right now.
How do I get up there? There's too many of these assholes. Hold on, Tommy.
I don't think Tommy needs any rescuing from the wolves. I think the wolves need rescuing from Tommy, that's what it is. And let's be honest, it's kind of Tommy's fault for Joel dying because he uttered Joel's name unprovoked to Abby, and they had no reason to even trust those, the WLF in the first place. Yeah, that's good thinking, Tommy, good thinking. Just say your name to the strangers, that'll work. But never mind that, instead of running away from the fire, we have to go towards it because, of course we do. Because it's Ellie, and she's the biggest Death Seeker in the whole entire series, right next to... I don't think there's anybody else. Ellie's truly the biggest Death Seeker in the whole entire series. More unneeded vandalism for supplies, and a little bit of vent climbing because we gotta have vent climbing in our video games.
Gross.
You just painted a whole bunch of walls with blood and now you think that toilet water vents are gross? Okay then. And there's just more supplies here. Oh god, everything is full. Even my ammo is full. What a waste of time. Alright, that's going to be enough of this area. Let's proceed with the rest of this section where we will meet man's best friend. I always wanted a dog growing up, but my parents were kind of strict on the dog thing because, you know, dogs are hard work. And generally, our apartments were not that pet friendly to begin with, so all we had were goldfishes, which did not grant a single wish I had, which kind of sucks.
This is dumb. We should be pushing in.
We hold the perimeter until we hear otherwise. Keep an eye out in case he comes this way.
I got something.
Infected?
get in there.
Now the dogs can spot you from afar by catching onto your scent, which means that Ellie needs to take a damn bath like yesterday. The best way you can shake off the dogs is by throwing bottles in their general directions, and they'll get spooked by it. I mean, they'll start barking at the noise. So just be sure to throw a lot of bottles. And yes, you can actually get into combat with the dogs, and just like with the humans, it's no holds barred brutality. You can use anything at your disposal to take down the dogs. That includes trip mines. Yeah, that's a thing.
This ain't clear.
Really? Nothing?
Dog had something.
Let's check every shop. I don't want to take any chances.
You got it.
What the hell was that?
Go.
You knew for a fact that the moment the marketing for this game mentioned any sort of action with dogs, oh boy, everybody kind of freaked out. And I didn't freak out, but I was also kind of like, this doesn't feel right. So, yeah, I kind of had second thoughts about that too. But again, there are also other video games out there that had dogs as enemies, and you had to take down the dogs accordingly. Some games more cartoonishly than others, obviously. This game is just straight up deadpan about it. If you kill a dog in this game, it feels like you're killing a dog. There's no ifs, ands, or asses about it. Naughty Dog just kind of did that for shock value, and congratulations, he certainly shocked a lot of people.
Anybody hear that?
Oh good, she actually said the line. Sometimes when you're pulling the dumpster downhill, Ellie will not say anything, and it's kind of jarring. Sometimes she'll say different lines, sometimes she won't say anything at all. It's really random. But what you need to do is push this dumpster over to a certain point in order to get onto the roof. There is going to be a hole in the wall for you to get in, and there is going to be a workbench for your gun. I ran past the workbench this time because I didn't have enough upgrades for my gun just yet. But there are still gun parts in the area that you can just swipe. Ellie's combat style lean more towards stealth and overall sniping tactics as opposed to Abby's brute tactics. You don't want to get into a firefight with Ellie, or if you do, you want to get out of it as soon as possible. Ellie does have a second chance perk in one of her skill trees, and that if you take fatal damage, sometimes you won't just die outright, you'll go to 1 health, and that will give you an opportunity to recuperate. Abby, to my knowledge, has no such perk like that, but she makes up for it with increased overall health. Here's the next combat section, kind of. It's not really a combat section, but there are enemies in the general area. It's more infected. I'm going to climb in through this building first because there's an item I want, but there are also 2 shamblers in this vicinity too, so I gotta be careful. Shamblers do have some of the benefits a bloater does, like the acid spores, but they don't have the increased armor like the bloaters do, so a couple of well-placed shots to the head will take them down relatively quickly. And also, the Shambler's heads are huge. It's honestly harder to miss the target rather than hit it. Oh wow, it's good to see that the shake your controller to get your flashlight working thing is still an option. I always hated that. I've never liked that feature. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of pointless for the flashlight to just flicker a little bit, and then you have to shake the controller for it to turn back on. Now, if it's in danger of turning off completely, that's another story. And I may actually like that option better, but oh well. Who knows, maybe they'll add a battery system in part 3, kind of like Alien Isolation. You know, honestly, I think people will dislike that because they'll just have to go out of their way to find batteries, but I wouldn't mind it. It's a survival horror game, after all, so why not? That, and I just hate shaking the controller. I'm not playing the Wii, I'm playing on PlayStation 4. Why would I just aim the controller, or shake it, just to get a camera working? It's just like Uncharted 1, where I have to aim the controller and throw a grenade at somebody, and then it will probably miss because I aimed it way too far. or I blow myself up because I aimed it way too close, and oh, why did Uncharted 1 do that? It's a good thing that Drake's Fortune on the PS4 collection actually fixed that, because boy was throwing grenades in the PS3 version crap. Alright, that's the rant right there. Battery packs for Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3. Last of Us 3? Hopefully, because that will add more tension to the gameplay. Alright, right here we'll find another magazine for Ellie, which will unlock her final skill set. Precision, that is our next skill tree. That is going to help us aim a lot steadier and not like a slum drunk. Alright, so the first perk is aim stability increase. This perk helps to keep your aiming on point while moving, because aiming in these games are straight up ass. I'm sorry, The Last of Us aiming system sucks. So to have a perk help you out just a little bit is very beneficial. And if that still doesn't help, there's always the option to turn weapon sway off in the options menu, which takes away the fun of the game actually. And there's also a lock-on feature, which kinda sucks. Don't turn lock-on feature on, it makes the game way too easy. But who needs guns when you have a really pissed off Ellie with a pocket knife and a hatchet? Well, apparently I still need guns because I shot this guy twice, and I'm about to shoot this other infected in the leg. Speaking of shooting things in the leg, Dead Space is getting a remake. I'm very interested to see where that's going, because I love the original Dead Space games, and I haven't played those in a long time, so I want this one to be good. I probably know it's going to be because it's Dead Space. I love Dead Space. There's a safe in this alley right here, but there are 5 runners guarding the safe, so I'm just going to place a trip mine down and make another one because I want to, and have the infected run into the prime trip mine. Housekeeping! Alright, run like hell because they're going to run straight at you. You don't want to put the trip mine too close to the door, otherwise you'll blow yourself up. Damn! I didn't get all of them, but I still like blowing shit up. Those were 5 runners, Ellie. I thought you knew about those. Why are you asking me?
Looks like they've been locked in here for years.
Wait a minute, that's inconsistent, that's inconsistent. Why were those infected still at stage 1 if they had been locked up for years? Unless they had just recently been bitten, but still, they've been locked up for years. How can that be the case? They should have at least been at Stalker or Clicker level by now, but they weren't.
Tattoo shop.
There's some stuff at this tattoo shop, but it's not really that important, just some supplements and that's it. The combination for the safe is going to be right across the street. It's kind of like you're going towards the end of this section, but then you have to backtrack in order to get the safe. There's going to be yet another shambler and a runner. What I do for this part is I break the glass, I place down a trip mine, and then I hide in that room right there. With the runner being quicker than the shambler, he'll just run into the trip mine and die. And with the shambler, I just shoot it to death. Glass does not hurt video game characters. Oh, 2 parts from now is going to be ridiculous about that. Not only do 2 characters fall into water from such a great height that will kill them anyway, but they fall through fucking glass first. How does that make sense? NES games had more brutal fall damage than that. Star Wars, for example, where Luke Skywalker can't even fall a pixel without stubbing his toe. And need I remind you about Blaster Master, where Jason Frutnick can't even jump without dying. But if you put water and probably glass there, they'll be okay because video game logic. It's a mystery. Here's the safe combination. Let's backtrack a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why they put the safe combination all the way across the street from the back alley, but anything to make the game harder, I guess. Okay, so 208265. The person's also apparently named Dale, which begs the question, where the fuck is Chip? And past me misread that 20 as a 30 for some reason. That was my fault. For future parts of this playthrough, I think I'm just going to cut out all the dead air, the sections where I'm just scavenging the area, because it's kind of boring to watch, I know. And it's boring to talk through all of it, so just going to save time and cut out all the parts where I'm just looking about the area. Now, if there are 2 or more characters with the main protagonist and they're having a conversation, I'll keep that part in. But for time's sake, I'm just going to cut out the parts where it's just dead silence. This playthrough is pretty long, and there's nothing wrong with cutting out some of the fluff. This safe right here houses Ellie's shotgun holster. And now our inventory is complete. There we go, now you can switch between Joel's Smith & Wesson and the Beretta without going to our backpack. Alright, proceeding with the rest of this section, there's not a whole lot of combat left in this part of town, not until we make it to the WLF side. And I argue that combat with the wolves is pretty much going to be a bitch from here on out. Literally, a bitch. Through this door and outside is going to be a staircase, but before you make it to that staircase, you're going to get a bit of foreshadowing. Arrows. Even Ellie knows that there's going to be a bow in the area, she just picks up the arrows anyway.
Whoa. What was that? Oh, shit. Hope you did that, Tommy.
Damn it, Tommy, stop having fun without me! There are more runners in this area, but you can just run past them. Sure, you can fight the runners here, but I just want to save all my resources for the next combat section, which is going to be significantly harder than anything else before it. Because you got dogs, guys with guns, guys with machetes, people who throw smoke bombs at you, it's going to be a mess. So sprint past the infected, they are a total non-issue in this section. Run into this house. And it looks like this house, just like any other, has been abandoned. Hopefully we don't run into anything crazy in here. I'm joking, we probably are going to run into something crazy in here, are we? But the good news is, once we defeat that craziness, we'll get our new weapon, which is our old weapon, the bow and arrow, making its return from the first game. And the properties of the bow and arrow work differently in this game than they did in the first game, but I'll get more into that in the next part. Here's a letter here that pertains to some of the other letters you'll find in this area. It's about a guy named Boris, who is sadly not invincible because he probably died a long time ago. Or maybe Boris is still around but in a different form. We shall see how this turns out. Of course I'm full. Well, hello, Boris. Or at least I think this is Boris, I don't know. I'm just gonna duck and weave your attacks and then wait for an opening to slice you up. And I don't know how Ellie's knife manages to slice through the Kevlar vest, but maybe her knife has laser properties, I don't know. This garage has more ammunition and stuff Boris is not using because he's currently dead right now. So let's just take his bow while we're at it.
Yeah, this'll do.
There we go, now we're back in business. The bow in this game works more like how Lara Croft's bow in the rebooted Tomb Raider games worked, as opposed to how it did in The Last of Us 1. And you're gonna have to get used to that. So instead of aiming and then holding down the shoot button to raise tension, You hold down the aim button to already raise tension, and then you press the fire button. However, if you don't like the way the bow controls in this game, you can switch back to the old style, just like I did. So that way you could just press R1, hold it, and then release it at the perfect time. Anyway, that is going to be the end of part 17 of The Last of Us 2. Tune in for part 18 where we fight off against more wolves and dogs and bears.
Hey! Dog's picked up something down the hill. Think he's down there.
No way. Still up here. Just blew up one of our fucking trucks.
You sure?
Yes, I'm fucking sure. Everybody spread out. We may have multiples.